morning, year 4 or afternoon. It is Miss Markwell again, bringing you another maths video. Some days you will have a video from me like this, and other days you'll just have a video from online. So you'll have a bit of both. Today we're continuing on with decimals, and everyone is doing a really fantastic job with decimals, which is fantastic. And today we're looking at can I make a whole. So in order to make a whole, we'll be using number bonds to 10 and 100. And we'll also be using 100 squares and Porthole models. So a variety of different representations to make a whole. Firstly, I want you to think about how many tenths are in one whole. You can look at this model to help you. This is one whole. How many tenths are in this one whole? There are 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in one whole, there are 10 tenths. Now I want you to think about how many hundredths are in one whole. Hundredths. Here I've got a hundred square. How many hundredths do I need to complete this 100 square? You can either count all the squares if you would like, or you might just know. And in 100 square, we know there are 100 hundredths. So you need 100 hundredths to make one whole. So you need 10 tenths to make one whole. You need 100 hundredths to make one whole. We're going to do I'm going to give you some hundredths, and you're going to try and work out how many more you need to make a whole. Now you can't really see all of this, so let me make it a little bit smaller. Perfect. So firstly, if I have got 20 hundredths, how many more do I need to make a whole? So I have got 20 hundredths. How many more do I need to make one whole? We need to try and make 100. So I've got 20 hundredths. How many more do I need to make 100 hundredths? So you've got 20 hundredths. What are you going to add to this 20 hundredths to make 100 hundredths? You're going to add 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You're going to add 80 hundredths to the 20 hundredths to make 100 hundredths. Okay, now we can write that as a fraction. What is 20 hundredths as a fraction? 20 hundredths as a fraction is 20 over 100. What is 80 hundredths as a fraction? That is 80 over 100, and that equals 100 over 100. We can also write that as a decimal, and writing it as a decimal is the one that you're really going to focus on, because decimals is our topic in maths at the minute. So you can write it as a fraction first and then change it into a decimal, but make sure that you always write it as a decimal. So not 200, 20. So firstly, what is 20 hundredths as a decimal? That is 0.20. What is 80 hundredths as a decimal? That is 0.80. That equals 100 hundredths as a decimal. And we can just write 100 hundredths as 1, because that is just one whole, okay? It's not a decimal, it's just one whole. Some people might write it as 1.0, but you don't have to. You can just write it as 1. Okay, next one. If I have got 64 hundredths, how many more do I need to make a whole? So you have got 64. How many are you going to add? What are you going to add to this 64 to make 100 hundredths? So Let's write 64 as a fraction, which is 64 hundredths. What are you going to add to that 64 hundredths to make a whole? You're going to add 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to add 36 hundredths, and that will give you 100 over 100. Remember, decimals is our focus, so we're now going to change that fraction into a decimal. 64 hundredths as a decimal is 0.64. Add what is 36 as a decimal? It is 0.36, and that equals 1 whole, or you can write 1.0, but remember you don't have to. Okay, next one. If I have got 9 hundredths, I have 9 hundredths. So as a fraction, that would be 9 over 100. 9 hundredths. How many more? What do I need to add to this 9 hundredths to equal 100? 9 hundredths, add 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91. Add 91 hundredths, and that will equal 100 hundredths, or 1 whole. Remember, we're going to now write this as a decimal. So what is 9 hundredths as a decimal? It is 0.09. Remember, it's not 0.9 because that would mean you have 9 tenths, but you don't have 9 tenths, you've got 9 hundredths. So it would be 0.09, add 0.91, and that equals 1.0, or 1 whole, just the number 1. Okay, you can also make a whole through part-whole models, okay? And we've done part-whole models a little bit before, so you might be a little bit familiar with them, or you may not, okay? So don't worry if you're not. So we're going to look at this one first. We have got 1, okay? And we need to try, we've got 1 whole, and that is the same as 10 tenths as a fraction. Okay, that is the answer. We have got part of the question 0.7, which is the same as 7 tenths. What do I add to 0.7 to give me 1 whole? So what do I add to 0.7 to give me 1 whole? And you know, if you know your number bonds, this is using your number bonds to 10. 7 add 3 equals 10. So 0.7 add 0.3 will give you 1 whole. On this one, we have got 1 whole, except this 1 whole doesn't represent 10 tenths. It represents 100 hundredths. And I know it represents 100 hundredths because if I look at this part of the part-whole model, the decimal is 0.27, and that is not a tenth. That is not 27 tenths. That is 27 100ths. So I know my final answer, whoa, that's a big 0, is 100 hundredths. So what am I going to add to 0.27 to give me 1 whole? I'm going to add 0.73. Now, to work out this 0.73, you might want to do a subtraction method. You might want to use a number square. So you can just decide which way you do it, and some of you might just know. So just do whatever works best for you. Okay, now that is all from me today on creating whole numbers. So you're going to go over to Teams now and do the activity, do sheet 1, and then you're going to spot check it. When you've spot checked it, if you want to do mastery, go on to mastery, and if you don't want to do mastery, that's okay. And then tomorrow there'll be something new on decimals. And remember, if you need any help, please just send either myself or Miss Burkett a message on Teams and we will be more than happy to help. That's all for now. See you all later. Bye.